This video was sponsored by BlueStacks, and if you don't know what BlueStacks is, it is a completely free emulator that you can use to run Azur Lane and other mobile games on your computer instead. If you have ever run into lackluster issues with your phone regarding its performance or overheating or anything, well, you don't have to worry about that with BlueStacks because you're running it on your computer instead, which could potentially get you much better performance as well. I personally use it to go and run Azur Lane and to record my YouTube videos for it, so I can definitely vouch for it. If you are interested in this, there is an affiliate link in the description and the pinned comment below, and it will actually give me some support too, so I can continue to keep making these videos for you guys. Peace out! Hey guys, this is Ander, or FBApandUp, over on the Lexington server, and today we've got a massive update coming with a new idol event, Universe in Unison. There are literally like 8 new ships coming with this event, and there is so much to cover. And just before this video starts, I've just gotta say, Tashkent Muse is definitely the cutest, but without further ado, let's get started. It just takes one quick look at Tashkent's pouting face. Just appreciate it. It's amazing. Anyway, let's go and check out the new skins. First of all, we have Starlit Chocolate for set 46. This is her live 2D skin that makes her into some sort of magical girl. Overall, it's pretty nice. It's also pretty expensive. We've also got Unicorn's live 2D skin. This skin is also very well done, and she also has a very interesting special touch, as you saw in the intro. So, definitely another good bio. Got Warspite's skin. Warspite's skin is definitely my personal favorite of the event. It just looks very aesthetically pleasing, and I don't know, I just really dig the skin. Queen Elizabeth though, Queen Elizabeth also has a super nice skin. This is definitely my favorite so far for her. It just looks so much better. Her base art is very lackluster, but this new skin right here, it's very nice. Vampire has her 5th or 6th skin that looks very similar to her other 5 or 6 skins. We've got and then Hammond. Yeah. Along with that, you've also got the other Polaris skins from the first event, so if you forgot to pick them up last time, you can always do it this time. Now, all these skins have really cool backgrounds, so if you want to buy them, they're very cool. And taking a look at the new dorm set, it is an absolute rave party in here now. You've got animated wallpapers, and the best part is, this set is actually really cheap at only 1,000 dorm tokens. Since they just gave out 500 dorm tokens for free, this is definitely a no-brainer and you should definitely pick this up. It looks really nice. You got Roon dancing in a corner right there. Boop. Anyway, let's go and move on to the Lucky Bag and Gear skins. Along with this massive event, we've got our Universe of Unison Lucky Bag. Boop, right there. As with every Lucky Bag, if you have money, it's a great deal. For any of you whales out there, a fantastic deal. So buy it if you have money, you get gems, you get special blueprints, well, only 2, but really you're just there for the gems, and also the very nice skin. So yeah, that's that. And going back to the gear skins this time around, we've got these Shining Star gear skin boxes you can get from either the event shop or from purchasing it with gold from the general shop. All these skins are very, very nice, so this is definitely a really nice pickup. But do remember that you can actually get these from event drops, so you don't actually need to buy them. So next up to talk about is the Cosmic Concerts. It's going to be a mini event you can access by clicking on Tashkent Muse right here. And you'll be greeted with this screen. You can earn yourself a free super rare Malin Muse by just playing this rhythm game for 7 days. So by doing this, you just have to click Cosmic Concert, and then knock yourself out with any of these songs right here. Can't really hear it because the sound's off, but if you want, I can go and sing you the song while I play it. So this one's very simple, it's Watashi wa number 1, so here we go. Watashi wa number 1, da 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 da. Da, 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 da. Any flashbacks yet? So anyway, this is what you have to do, and you have to just complete one of these songs every day, and you will get a note thingy, and once you collect 7 note thingies, you will earn yourself a free Malin Muse. Now moving on to the Commemorative Handbook that you can access through clicking Live Stage right here in the middle, and then Commemoration. You will collect 12 of these stickers to go and unlock yourself the Passionate Medal, which is that souvenir that tells you that you completed the event. If you want to know what it looks like, here it is in the dorm, right here. Yeah, looks pretty nice. They've got a nice pair of beats or something like that. And if you want it, just do all the tasks that the commemoration tells you to do, and you will get it. Now, just as a quick reminder, even though it's not actually on the build banner, the Rerun Polaris characters from the first event, being the OG Polaris ships, Gascon Muse, Akiyuki Muse, Cleveland Muse, and of course Admiral Hipper Muse, are available to be obtained in the event pool for a limited time. They are not rated up, however, so you will have to pray to RNGs extra hard. If you're wondering what they look like, here is a reminder of what they are. You've got Gascon Muse right here, and Akagi is right here, along with Admiral Hipper, and finally Cleveland Muse right here. Now onto the event shop guide. This event shop is pretty straightforward this time on what to buy. Your number one priority is to get Roon Muse, because we'll get to her review later, but just know that she is an absolute powerhouse. You need to buy her. Like, you actually need to buy her. Anyway, after that you can prioritize your standard stuff like getting your PR blueprints since they're an incredible value. You can get your gold, oil, or general parts if you ever are running low on them. You've got gold cap boxes if you want some. And these stuff right here, the gear skin boxes are nice if you want some gear skins. The 2 stages are nice if you want to put them in your dorm. And I would recommend buying this microphone just because you get to hear that awesome loyalty song from the Taihou/Roon subgroup in the background during your battle. So that's pretty nice. I'm not saying this word. Now onto how to farm Universe in Unison. This event is relatively easy, with the boss of SP5 only being at level 80. So, as a warning, there are no map exclusive super rare ships from this event. As you can see from the drop table, SP5 only gives Deutschland and Hiryu, so you cannot get Roon Muse from just map drops. You will need to buy her from the event exchange. On the bright side though, you have the chance to go and get some nice gear skins from just completing events. So yeah, nice little incentive. For farming recommendations, overall I would recommend doing the SP stage, of course, every single day. Get yourself a ton of event points, and then from there just farm SP5. SP5 has the most amount of event currency, and it's just solid. There's a special mention to SP4 if you do need Gneisenau. She does drop from here, and SP5, as you saw, drops Deutschland if you want her. Getting into the very exciting ship reviews, we have first of all Taihou Muse, who is our new armpit goddess. She's obtainable in the gacha, and no matter what, I am going to be using her. She looks hot, and her skills look awesome. You can think of Taihou Muse as a upgraded version of her normal self. Taihou Muse has almost identical stats as normal Taihou, except what sets them apart is that Taihou Muse's skills are much better. Compared to normal Taihou's pitiful 40% chance of launching an airstrike. You know what, let's go and find normal Taihou's skill right here. Real quick. So here's normal Taihou's skill, predestined launch. She has the virgin 40% chance to launch an additional airstrike, but guess what? Taihou Muse, on the other hand, if you go and look at her, she has the Chad, guaranteed airstrike right here. So that's very nice. On top of that, if her HP is over 45%, she will actually take 200 damage, but in return, her additional airstrike will become more powerful, which is very interesting. It's a very nice little flavor. I like that. Along with this, she has a second skill, where she gets an additional 6% aviation boost for each additional Muse ship in the same fleet as her, at a maximum of 4 stacks. Additionally, once per battle, when her health falls below 35%, she fires a super cool looking barrage that heals her for 8% of the damage dealt by it. After this, Taihou Muse's loading time for the next airstrike will then be decreased by 20%. Overall, Taihou Muse is a very solid carrier that you definitely can't go wrong with leveling up. She's not exactly top tier with the other broken people like Essex, Centaur, and the other extremely overpowered tier 0 carriers, but she can definitely hold her own as a tier 1 carrier. Moving on to my favorite ship in the event, we've got our extremely cute comrade Tashkent Muse that you can obtain through the event gacha as well. She has very similar performance with her normal counterpart, meaning that she is quite good. There are a few differences between the two. Well, I can't really compare, but according to the Azur Lane wiki, she gets 30 more torpedo and 30 less firepower than regular Tashkent, and their skills are also quite different. Now Tashkent Muse right here gets her fairy again, Snezhinka, but this time it is purple instead of blue, and for those that do not know what it does, this fairy basically gets summoned for the first 50 seconds, and it basically acts as a second main gun, drastically increasing Tashkent's damage output. However, instead of slowing enemies down, like normal Tashkent, the Muse version of the fairy instead inflicts a 5% aircraft damage taken debuff onto any enemy that is hit 10 times with the fairy's icicles. Now this very specific debuff could be possibly working very well on World 13, but outside of that, I don't think there's going to be too much of a difference. But anyway, just the fact that it is basically a second main gun is very good. Moving on to Tashkent Muse's second skill, Tashkent gets a 12% firepower boost for her first 3 sorties, and for the 4th battle onward, she gets a 12% anti-air boost instead. Overall, Tashkent Muse has a very similar performance to her normal self, except I would still say that normal Tashkent still has an edge over her. Regardless, Tashkent Muse is still a very strong destroyer, and I would easily recommend leveling her up as well. Next up, the third ship that you can obtain through the gacha, we have Dido Muse, the idolized version of Dido, sprouting a very nice side ponytail, just like Hayasaka from Kaguya-sama. So, Dido Muse, unlike the other 2 ships that I've covered, has her own separate identity compared to her normal self, as she is much more heavily focused on anti-air in her idolized form. Dido Muse has around 40 more anti-air stat than her normal self at a very respectable 424 at max level. Dido Muse also gets 5% more anti-air gun weapon efficiency compared to her normal self, which also contributes to more anti-air. Her skills are also very anti-air focused. Dido Muse's first skill grants a special barrage that procs every 20 seconds, and it also grants bonus anti-air depending on your fleet composition. If she's used as a solo vanguard, she increases the anti-air of the flagship by 15%, but what you really want to do is use her with other vanguard ships, as she grants an even better buff when other ships are present. Her special barrage actually gets upgraded into a powerful barrage, and she grants the entire vanguard plus 3 speed, 15% more anti-air, and 15% more accuracy. So basically, just ignore the first part of this confusing skill, and try and use Dido with other vanguards. Dido also gets a second skill that massively buffs her own anti-air. For every 2 enemies she shoots down, she grants herself an extra 10% anti-air stat increase at a max of 3 stacks. And to top it all off, to go for the first 60 seconds of battle, she grants herself 15% extra evasion boost. So that's a very large amount of anti-air at an extra 30% at max level, and this is just a lot of anti-air. Dido Muse is an extremely good candidate for World 13, as you may guess, because she's just got a ton of good anti-air. So if you're looking for a Sandy retrofit replacement, or a Seattle replacement, or any other anti-air hybrid focused person, she's the one. Now moving on to the 4th ship available in the gacha. Sadly, not all the ships in an event can be good, and that will be the case for the last 2 purple ships available in the event. So first up, let's talk about Albacore Muse. Other than her fantastic pose, and the fact that somehow her idolized form actually manages to cover up more of her body than her base art, for instance, now remember this, and then let's go and take a quick comparison to normal Albacore right here, and yeah, I just thought that was really funny. Anyway, back to Albacore Muse. That's really all she's got going for her. Just due to how submarines work in this game, with how gold submarines are always better than purple submarines, you would really only need to use Albacore Muse if you need to get your first 3 submarines filled with just the slots. Compared to normal Albacore, Albacore Muse is basically a straight downgrade. As one guy said on Reddit, Albacore Muse is about 90% of normal Albacore. With that being said, Albacore's skill makes her a very solid purple submarine if you do want to use her. She gets 20 more oxygen, and she also gets 2 barrages. She shoots her first torpedo barrage with a 70% chance of armor break when she resurfaces, and when she retreats she fires a second torpedo barrage that has a 70% chance to burn enemies. So she's a really solid purple submarine, but if you already have 3 gold submarines then you don't really need to worry about leveling her up. But if you are looking for a purple submarine, Albacore fits that role very well. Finally, moving on to the last event ship in the Gacha section, we are going to move on to Baltimore Muse with her Natsuhiro Matsuri looking outfit. As expected of a downgraded purple version of a normally SR ship, Baltimore Muse is sadly just another toned down version of a once very good ship. Baltimore Muse may have 100 extra HP at max level over normal Baltimore, but then she has worse firepower, worse reload, worse anti-air, worse weapon efficiencies, and worse skills than her normal self. Her first skill grants Baltimore Muse a 70% chance to change her ammo type to special AP for 10 seconds every 20 seconds in the battle. This is basically a straight up worse version of normal Baltimore's skill, and her second skill grants herself a 15% evasion boost as well as a 15% increase in anti-air for your Vanguard when she is sortied with a carrier, light carrier, or a Muse ship. This is also basically a toned down version of normal Baltimore's second skill. Overall, Baltimore Muse is definitely a usable heavy cruiser, but she has nothing to write home about, as there are just much better options for heavy cruisers available. Now moving on to the reward that you get for acquiring 10,000 event points, we have Illustrious Muse. Illustrious Muse is a very well-rounded ship. She's able to deal solid damage as well as being able to act as a support for her fleet. She has almost the exact same stats as her normal self. The only key difference is that Illustrious Muse has 10% less fighter plane weapon efficiency than her normal self. Even so, Illustrious Muse still has a higher DPS than her normal self due to these 2 skills that she has. Now her first skill turns her into a pseudo Arc Royal support kind of character. When she finishes loading an airstrike, Illustrious Muse decreases the speed of all enemies on the screen by 30% for 4 seconds, and also activates one of the following effects. The first option decreases the enemy's evasion for 15% for 10 seconds, which would be very useful against destroyer bosses. The second option increases your Vanguard's damage dealt by 15%, while decreasing the damage that your main fleet takes by 10% for 10 seconds. And the third option increases your main fleet's damage dealt by 10% and decreases the damage taken from your Vanguard by 10% for 10 seconds. Wow, that's a lot of words. Anyway, all these buffs are very solid, and the small slow that she gets from here is also very welcome. For Illustrious's second skill, she grants herself a very interesting guaranteed barrage that has some really nice modifiers. Well, at least to light armor. She absolutely obliterates light armored targets with an astounding 180% damage modifier on this guaranteed airstrike. She has solid damage to medium armor with 110%, and she basically does no damage to heavy armored targets with this airstrike, with only a 40% damage modifier against them. Overall, Illustrious Muse is a pretty solid and well-rounded ship that is a more offensive version of her normal self. She is very useful, so leveling her up will not disappoint you. On to the best Muse ship ever released. Let's talk about our exchange shop reward, Roon. You know what, let's go with Roon Muse. She is a more offensive version of PR Roon, and is an absolute force to be reckoned with. Just from stats alone, Roon Muse is exceptional. She has identical stats to her normal self, except she has even higher HP, granting her the second highest HP pool for a heavy cruiser, right behind Prince Eugen, who is holding the first spot. She also gets the same amazing EX barrage that PR Roon has, as you can see right here. Now, the only difference is that the ammo is now music notes, which is just added aesthetic. Moving on to Roon's skills, she has two very nice skills. The first skill grants her a guaranteed barrage that procs every 15 seconds that provides an incredibly powerful debuff. Now, for each enemy hit, they will take 10% more damage for 6 seconds, and if only one enemy is hit, say during a boss battle, their speed will be set to 0 for 3 seconds, basically acting as a mini formidable time stop, and if that wasn't enough, she also grants herself an additional torpedo barrage whenever this occurs. Her second skill grants herself 2 sets of shields at the start of battle and every 30 seconds after. These shields last for 15 seconds and come in 2 different flavors, blue and red. The blue shield is your standard blocking defensive shield that blocks up to 8 projectiles, and the red shield causes damage to enemies when they are hit by it, which can happen up to 8 times before it breaks. Now, Roon Muse's massive DPS potential due to her amazing stats, amazing EX barrage, amazing character art, and amazing skills makes her easily one of the top heavy cruisers in the entire game right now. So if you were to pick one ship that you would want to level up during this event, do yourself a favor and purchase Roon Muse from the exchange shop for 8,000 points. You won't regret it. Finally, we have our last ship to be covered in this event. We have the Malin Muse, who you can obtain by playing the rhythm minigame right here for 7 days. She has almost identical stats to her normal self. She also has 2 very interesting skills. So the Malin Muse's first skill procs every 20 seconds after the start of battle, causing the Malin Muse to stop moving for 3 seconds, and she also summons some Iris Angels that attack and deal damage to enemies based off of Malin's torpedo stat. Additionally, the skill has a 50% chance to heal the Malin Muse for 3% of her max HP whenever it activates, and for the Malin Muse's second skill, at the start of battle, she grants herself a very respectable 20% firepower boost, and in addition, she grants herself another 3% firepower boost for each enemy she sinks up to 3 extra stacks. In total, that is a considerable 29% firepower boost, which is quite nice. She also has a defensive aspect to this skill, where the Malin Muse straight up just takes 5% less damage, and every 25 seconds, she heals all destroyers in the same fleet as her for 3% of their max HP. I can definitely see some potential for the Malin Muse, simply just due to how much she offers. She just gets really solid DPS through her Iris Angels and that massive 29% firepower boost, and also that solid survivability that she gets from that HP recovery is really nice. I would recommend leveling her up, especially if you want to use her in a full French fleet with Richelieu. I think she would be working well as a wonderful vanguard. With those ship reviews finished, that will bring an end to this Universe in Unison event guide. As always, if you found this information helpful, consider dropping a like and subscribing. Don't forget to press that notification bell for my future uploads as well. Feel free to leave a comment if you have any questions that need to be answered, and I'll try my best to reply. If you're interested, you can always join my Discord server that you can find in the description below if you need advice or just want a place to relax. That'll be all for this video, so I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!